concept of constitutionalism in Kenya. And then we also need to look at the morals teacher, that is the morality of our country. And also we need to look at the necessity of any action. You know, wherever there is an action, there should always be a reason. And I think in nominating these members to the cabinet, the president acted in consideration of the three. One, when you look at the Constitution, it does provide well at Article 152, and it will never change unless the Constitution is amended, that the president has powers to nominate such members to be vetted by Parliament and so to be taken back to him to be appointed as ministers. And that is power which constitutionally still lies upon the president, and it's still a right that the president, once assuming office in a legal manner, he actually is accrued to him. Okay. And I also want Kenyans to believe that while we want to enjoy certain rights which emerge out of different provisions of the Constitution, we must also allow others to enjoy their rights. Like when others wanted to enjoy their right to picket at Article 37, they adversely affected the other people's rights to enjoy the protection of their properties at Article 40. So where does our Constitution start and where does it end? And who should enjoy more and who should enjoy less, depending on the fact that we have Article 24, providing for limitation of enjoyment of rights. That is now my constitutional view, okay, that if Kenyans want the Constitution to run our country, then let us allow Constitution to run our country. And therefore, we must act or conduct ourselves in accordance with the Constitution. And in fact, even the president, in nominating these persons, he actually acted in respect of the Constitution. But when we come to morality, you know, moral laws and the legal laws are very different. How morality look at our conduct differs with how the law looks at our conduct. Maybe the president, in acting in a manner as to nominate these other persons who are coming from other parties, was in his action of trying to bring the national image, yet continuing this sustainable governance. Because you realize that already we were headed to a state of anarchy. Because when we have a group of people on the street asking for the president to leave, without providing solution as to what next. Some were proposing transition government, some are proposing government of national unity, some are proposing different types of government, yet our Constitution is very clear as to which type of government we are supposed to have. And so it brings me to the third point, necessity. Sometimes you may want to conduct yourself in particular way and in certain legal manner, in certain moral manner, but then now necessity forces you to act in a very unique manner, because when there is an extraordinary time, you must act in an extraordinary manner. And that's what the president simply did. The president wanted the country to move forward, and he didn't want to look at strict words of the Constitution. He didn't want to look at the strict moral of our country, but he wanted to act in a necessary manner to let the country proceed. And I believe whatever we are going to discuss here, with respect of what we have heard just in the near past, should guide our interaction and how we deal with facts, in as much as some might be unfair to the Constitution, might be unfair to morality, or might be unfair to your person, but we must look at what will be fair to the country, and that is the necessity part of it.
So let me ask you, was it fair that the 12 were left out?
I've said necessity. That's why I've said it might not be fair.
Necessary.
I've said it might not be fair to the persons left out. It might not be fair even to the panel discussing it, but it is fair for the country to proceed, because extraordinary times that, like the one we had, requires extraordinary action.
Interesting. Speaking of extraordinary actions, Okango, does the inclusion of opposition in cabinet cure the challenges that brought us to this point in time as a country?